Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Now, bank interest rates are at record lows. They are terribly bad. Sometimes they're negative. It sounds pretty awful. And with all of this in mind, people are sometimes looking around saying, well, where can I get yield on my money? Where can I collect interest? Where can I be in a situation that I'm at least getting something, especially in what is at the moment a highly inflationary environment? Now, typically, I want to do that without sacrificing liquidity, because the whole point of keeping cash around is so that when good opportunities come up, I can put it into the investment and I can do well. So with that in mind, we're going to talk today about the best places to go to get high or high risk to reward basis stablecoin returns for those who are interested. So we're going to talk about that today. Before we do, if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, hit the all notifications. Really appreciate your support. Thank you for doing that. And if you'd like help with international tax optimization, residencies, citizenships, all the other types of things that we talk about on this channel, you can reach out to me. Please book a call, calendar.com/Michael-Rosmer. There's a link just below in the description. Or you can send a message to our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. All right. So just quickly, for those of you who aren't familiar, I did a video previously on stablecoins, but stablecoins are essentially a tokenized form of US dollar, euros, etc. So instead of holding the currency itself, you hold a token which is supposed to represent that, or at least that value. And there's some distinction between one like, say, USDC, which is basically supposed to represent actually holding that money, versus something like DAI, which is supposed to represent holding a value equivalent to it. Okay, so that's the way that it works. Now, if you're going to look at stablecoins, we have to say, okay, well, what stablecoins are they? Now, there's lots of different types out there. The most common, well-known one is USDT. There's USDC. There's DAI. There's something like UST. You've got all sorts of variations, BUSD, HUSD, but basically all sorts of different protocols will kind of create their own version of this, RUSD, etc. So this is the first question, and that discussion itself is not immaterial, because there is actually differences in the risk associated with it. One would argue that, at least from a peg risk perspective, USDT probably has a higher depegging risk than something like USDC does. It's not entirely guaranteed, of course, but that's generally the risk. You have something like UST, which I think probably has a higher depegging risk than DAI. And so you can kind of play with these however it is that you like. However, point is, that's one thing. And I do think that for a lot of people to hold some stable coins and then to earn some yield by depositing them into various places is useful. So let's talk about the places which you can do that. One is centralized places. The best known ones are Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, something like this, right? These are well known, and these are large custodial institutions that you have some institutional risk, but you also get some yield. And so take that for what it is. Those would be kind of the most common places to go and deposit, and a lot of people love these. By the way, people don't just deposit stable coins in there, they often deposit other crypto and they earn yield on that other crypto. So that's another thing. The next place that you can go and look is you can look at decentralized protocols that are like big, well-established, solid. And so the three that I would mention here, 3/4, is Aave. To give you some context, Aave has over $25 billion total value locked. It's never been hacked, etc. It's pretty solid protocol. You have Compound. Okay, that's the next one. You have Curve, and kind of related to it, Convex. Okay, and to give some idea, I mean, I just checked before I started making this video. At the moment, Aave on DAI is paying something around over 13% in yield, which is pretty good, right? Very, very good, especially for a protocol that's got relatively low smart contract risk. And so, that's that. Now, when I'm looking for higher yields, you can start, you can go to various aggregators like AutoFarm and places like that to see what you can find. There's two places that I go, and I'll leave you with kind of the main kind of interesting nugget, whether you are interested in it or not. So the one that I would often look at is Ramp DeFi. Okay, so Ramp DeFi, you get especially your best yields come typically from doing a pair of our USD, which is obviously ramp USD, with some other stablecoin. So that's one. They work pretty hard to have some of the best yields. And then the other one that I've been going for recently is a project called Tetu. Tetu is on Polygon. Okay, so it's Polygon Network. It's spelled TETU.io. And I actually bought into the token. A friend of mine recommended it, and I discovered that, well, a few different things I discovered. One was, our team had actually audited it, so I was like, okay, well, that's great. I can go and read our audit and find out and have some insights into what's going on. The second thing is that it had like a $1.2 million market cap, and so that's just outrageously low in any solid crypto protocol. I figured it could go, 10 to 100x or something. So it's up now, I think around 4 or 5 million or something, which is still super low for these projects. So I actually bought the underlying token and staked it at like 100% yield, which won't sustain likely, etc. But anyway, that's I figure I have the upside on the token in addition to it, and so I was making partially a bet on the token. This being said, they have various different vaults, and so for USDT, for USDC, etc., they have some very high yielding stablecoin vaults in addition to all the normal pairs, etc. So these are a few that might be of interest to you to jump into and see, depending on, do you like custodial, do you like non-custodial, and then kind of what's your spectrum for looking for higher returns. I'm going to talk in the next video about a way to kind of address a lot of the underlying risk. But one more thing, I guess, before we talk about getting rid of, or not getting rid of, but greatly reducing a lot of that risk, is the other one that you could mention is on Terra, is for UST anchor protocol. So that's a flat 20%, which is pretty crazy. You have, again, risk in the underlying asset, but yeah, that's the deal. So I hope those are helpful for you, give you some ideas. If you have some, suggest them to me, let me know, put them in the comments below. But for those of you who are looking, those are some places to go and check it out, since I sometimes get asked.